It was supposed to be just another Saturday night. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary, just a quiet evening at home. I had planned a simple dinner, looking forward to finally unwinding after a long, draining week. But the night didn't go the way I expected. Instead, it shifted everything. Ethan and I had been together for over 2 years. When I walked into the apartment, I saw him sitting on the couch, his eyes narrowing as if he already sensed something was off. The guilt hit me before either of us spoke. He had always had this way of seeing straight through me, of knowing exactly what I felt without me saying a single word. There was no hiding from him. Still, nothing could have prepared me for what came next. Ethan had always been the kind of partner I once dreamed of, kind, patient, and supportive. Our relationship wasn't flawless, but I believed in what we had. That night, however, his expression revealed emotions I had barely ever seen on his face before. Disbelief, pain, disappointment, all tangled together. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. Instead, his voice was low but unwavering. "I trusted you, and you broke that trust." Those words crushed me. There was nothing I could say that would undo the damage. He sat there quietly, looking at me, though I could feel he had already decided. We lived in a small city apartment, and though we had our share of arguments, I always told myself we were happy. I hadn't realized how fragile that happiness really was, or how quickly I was about to shatter it. What had started as a seemingly harmless lie had now torn everything apart. But instead of exploding in anger, he simply stood up, turned away, and walked to the bedroom. He closed the door softly, without another word. And in that silence, I knew he had already let go. That was the hardest part to bear. He didn't fight for us, didn't ask for answers, didn't even tell me to try to fix it. He just left me sitting there, face to face with the weight of my choices. I stayed frozen on the couch, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The quiet of the apartment pressed down on me, suffocating, a reminder of what I had lost. The hours dragged on. I waited, hoping he would come back out, say something, anything. But the door stayed closed. Every attempt I made to reach out was met with silence. That was when I realized he wasn't just behind that door. He was already gone, and what we had was gone with him. Losing Ethan wasn't only about the mistake I made. It was about the fact that I hadn't fought for him when it mattered. That night, I eventually drifted off to sleep on the couch, regret weighing on me heavier than any blanket. A couple glasses of wine dulled the edges of the pain, but nothing could erase the truth. I had broken something that could never be repaired. It had all started when I agreed to meet James, an old friend from college I hadn't seen in years. We used to be close, but time, relationships, and distance had pulled us apart. When he reached out, I felt a mix of nerves and excitement. Catching up seemed innocent enough. We met at a bar not far from my place. I told Ethan I was seeing a friend, though I left out the details, thinking it would be easier that way. With James, the evening felt effortless. We laughed, swapped old stories, and for a while it was as if no time had passed. The connection was still there, undeniable. It didn't feel wrong in the moment, but deep down I knew it wasn't wise. We ended the night with a hug and a promise to keep in touch. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. When I got home, later than I'd planned, Ethan was waiting. His voice was calm, almost cold. "I saw you." My chest tightened. I tried to play dumb, asked what he meant. His reply cut straight through me. "At the bar. With James." I froze. How did he know? Had he followed me? In desperation, I said I didn't think it would matter. But even as I spoke, I knew my words were hollow. Ethan just stood there, pale quiet. He wasn't angry. That would have been easier to face. Instead, his eyes held something far worse, hurt. "I never thought you would do this," he whispered, his voice shaking. I wanted to explain, to apologize, but the words wouldn't come. The next morning, he was gone. His clothes, his belongings, everything packed up and taken. On the table sat a single note. "I can't do this anymore. I can't be with someone who doesn't respect me. That was the last I ever heard from him. What broke me the most wasn't his leaving. It was the silence that followed. The weeks blurred together as I replayed everything. Every lie, every choice, every mistake that had led me here. And in the end, I finally understood. Heartbreak isn't always about betrayal. Sometimes, it's about the quiet truth that something has been broken beyond repair.